This is FPL Reviewed. As we look ahead to game week 9, we discuss what is happening at Liverpool. I have a little rant about Nottingham Forest, and Aaron is not happy with Xavi Simons. Hello guys, and welcome back to FPL Reviewed with me, Matty K.
And myself, Aaron.
The game week is not quite over yet, but we're here to take you through the highs and lows of everything that's gone on this weekend. Aaron, how did you get on, mate?
Not the best. As we previously discussed this week, I had a grand total of 60 points. I'm all out. I've got no players in the West Ham and Brentford game this evening. I've got game week rank currently of 4.28 million, which is currently a red arrow. So I should drop back into the millions after this week, which isn't ideal. But the 60 points comprise of Raya, who grabbed 6 points, Timber, 6 points. He was actually my transfer in this week. I took out Livramento, LaCroix with a grand total of 1 point, Cucurella with an 8, Xavi Simons, who I'll get onto later, the bane of my life. He got 2 points. Semenyo with 4, Reinders with 1, subbed on the 59th minute, which is 1 minute late. There's an extra 2 points there, but we can't grumble. Ismail Assar with 2 points, João Pedro 2 points, Gyökeres with 2 points, and Haaland captaincy with 26 points. So, yeah, it's above the weekly average, which is currently sitting at 52 points, but it's not enough for a green arrow. Looked quite good actually after the Chelsea game when Cucurella got that 8-pointer, and he hit Defcon. But it quickly went to shit. How about yourself?
73 all out. I've got Paquetá on the bench, so I'm hoping that he blanks. We are actually recording this just before the West Ham game, so we'll throw in the little updates as we go along. But yeah, 73 all out. It was the bench that was a concern for me. I had Dubravka and Munoz on the bench.
Yeah, so, I think a lot of people actually had Dubravka on the bench this week. Those obviously bench boosted came up trumps, but
yeah, so the ones that saved me are Timber and Gabriel, which brought in some points. I did bring in Semenyo in the end for the -4, and Voltemada as well, which brought in 8 points from him, 4 from Semenyo. Gakpo sort of saved me a little bit with 7 points, and I had the Haaland captaincy as well. Everyone else is just like 2-pointers, run of the mill.
Yeah, seems to be the case at the moment where it's just Arsenal players returning with Semenyo and Haaland, and other than that, everyone else is blanking. Remind me, who did you take Semenyo? Sorry, who did you bring Semenyo in for?
Who did I bring Semenyo in for? That'll be. I took out Papa Matasar and Isak.
Okay, so then actually, so Voltemada got. Yeah, so you actually worked out in.
It worked out better than what I would have done if I'd have stayed with because I probably would have played Papa Matasar and Isak as well. So yeah, it did work out better.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I made a decision actually Saturday morning that I was going to bring in Timber. I haven't got Gabriel at the moment, and I did have the money to go to him, but I wanted to go a little bit differential. And Timber's got that little bit more of an attacking output, and made the wrong decision this week because Gabriel went and got another, what was it, 12-pointer this week? Gabriel got
12-pointer, yeah. It's I'm sure we'll get onto it eventually, but I think double Arsenal defence is the way forward. But I'm currently sitting on the green arrow. Obviously, with West Ham playing later, it might change around, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the best case scenario, I think, tonight is West Ham not scoring and Brentford winning maybe a goal to nil.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Should we jump into the game weeks then? Go game by game.
Yeah, let's go for it. So we'll start with the first game on Saturday, which was Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 3. Scoreline doesn't really reflect Forest's first half performance, actually. The first half performance from Forest was pretty solid, actually. I think they amassed over 1.5 XG in that first half. But, yeah, very unusual. Igor Jesus coming up 0.69 XG, Nico Williams 0.53 XG, but Morgan Gibbs White 0.5 XG. Just can't find the back of the net. But I think the main talking point from the game was obviously Ange being sacked within 10 minutes of leaving the field.
Yeah, well, I'm going to jump in on this because my feelings on this. I jumped straight in the group chat to make it very clear. Morgan Gibbs White, I'll just say the XG is surprising considering the formation that Ange went with. He did actually start up front, but the Forest and Chelsea thing. The only thing I can say on it is the whole day was just sour from start to beginning. I don't like politics in football. it is what it is. People are always going to bring into it. But it started with them taking the knee. I haven't got a problem with that at all. But there was boos around the ground from all of the fans, which was just off to a sour taste right from the start. Then on to the game itself. Obviously, Forest are not, they just can't get clicking under Ange. And then to get sacked, and 10 minutes after the game, Marinakis got out of his seat with about 20 minutes to go, came down. The rumours are that he was sacked in the tunnel before he even got to the dressing room. That's why he didn't see him in the press conference. And I can only say sorry to the Nottingham Forest fans. I think this is 1 year where you should be having the time of your lives. You've got Europe for the first time in however many years. You should be riding an absolute wave at the moment and enjoying football. And it's just gone to absolute shit thanks to Marinakis. And I just cannot stand the bloke. He's ruining the club. And this is an absolute point to prove where owners getting too involved can really affect a club. At this point, he might as well chuck himself in as interim manager. But other than that, I'm absolutely raging. I ain't got much to say about Forest. Stay away from them in FPL terms because there's just too many ups and downs at the minute. Chelsea, we'll talk about them. But just you're going to have to stop me from ranting because I will go on forever.
Yeah, I think I don't generally know the feeling of the Forest fans around Marinakis. I think if I supported Forest, I wouldn't be overly happy with the situation. I mean, you sacked Nuno, who done a fantastic job there. You've brought in Postecoglou, and I understand it to a degree. You know, he wanted attacking football, he wanted more attractive football. But yeah, I don't know. It's not what the Forest fans wanted from what I can gauge. And now they're doing a full 360. They've just appointed Sean Dyche, haven't they? So
Confirmed.
yeah, it's been confirmed today. Yeah, it was a here we go by Fabrizio. And you may as well just start with Nuno. I mean, Sean Dyche just, in my opinion, plays boring defensive football. They're just going back to that. Which
Well, it was always going to be hard to do a full 180 from what Nuno had to Ange's system, and to give him, what did he have, 9 games in total or something like that? It's absolutely ridiculous. It's just the man has been a menace to the club since the summer transfer window, and to sack Nuno, who got you European football, okay, you had a falling out with him, put your ego aside. You know what I mean? It's not that deep. You can't have control over everything in the club. Like, you have to let the managers manage. That's what they're there for. But yeah, bringing Ange, it's a complete 180, and then you're going 180 again back to Sean Dyche, and it's just I do feel for the Forest fans, I really do.
Yeah, I do. I do feel like it's almost being looked at as a bit of a joke club because of this situation. But Forest are a decent footballing side. You know, they fantastic season last season without a shadow of a doubt. Finished. I mean, arguably, you know, they could have done even better. Nuno had them playing very well. I just don't understand the reasoning behind sacking him. Apart from, like you say, probably the ego of Marinakis. But yeah, I mean, we knew what was coming with this game. It was widely spread before the game that Ange was being sacked if they lost. First half, they were the better team, in my opinion. Second half, they just as soon as they conceded that first goal, I think it was Achapong that got that goal. They just capitulated, and that was that.
I think the writing was on the wall at 1-0, wasn't it, really? The players just sort of knew what was coming, ride the game out and go again. But I can't talk about them anymore because it frustrates me. In terms of FPL, like I said, at the minute, I would stay away from most of the Nottingham Forest players until it all settles down a little bit.
Yeah, there's absolutely none of any interest. I think the Igor Jesus, I think he'll be quite interesting should he get the minutes, but I can't see Chris Wood is going to be dropped to the point where he's getting a full 90 minutes. But just to run through a few statistics from that game, Forest actually created 4 big chances in that game. Morgan Gibbs-White had the most shots with 4. Chelsea-wise, 4 big chances, 2 were missed. And Achapong actually had the highest XG for Chelsea with 0.51. João Pedro, interestingly enough, with only 0.04 XG. And I think a lot of people are running out of patience with João Pedro. But once again, I think it's the 4th time, inclusive of Maresca, where Chelsea have had a red card. Albeit it was quite late on in the game. The game was already over. But Yeah.
It's still not a good look for Chelsea though. Like you can't really rely on any of the players because you don't know where the red card's going to be coming from. Is that 5 games in a row as well? Did you say?
I think they've had 4 reds in the last 5, but that's also including Maresca being sent off when he celebrated his goal against Liverpool. Not
Right,
his
okay.
goal, Chelsea's goal against Liverpool.
Yeah.
So
And we're also seeing a little bit of rotation as well from Chelsea out with likes of Garnacho getting minutes as well and stuff like that. So I think there's a few players that you can look at, Cucurella, Neto, etc. But again, there is a little bit of rotation risk.
yeah, Neto's actually started all 8, but he comes off he might come off on the 60th, might come off on the 70th, he might play a full game, but it's roulette, and we like to have 90-minute men in FPL, don't we? But I think the key talking point from the game, actually, or one player that I really want to talk about, is Reece James. He's actually played 90 minutes in a row, which got to be some sort of new record because the guy seems to always be injured. But honestly, when he's on the top of his game, he is phenomenal. And he got an 18-pointer. 18 points. And I'm pretty sure I saw there was a handful of people that actually triple captained him this week.
Wow.
Time travelers, obviously.
I will never not believe that you can't hack into FPL and change it after the results have come in.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you see all this sort of stuff. I mean, I think 54 people triple captained Pedro Neto, which I suppose is a little bit more believable. Being away to Forest wasn't exactly the hardest game, but yeah.
No, but I think the incident around game week 3 where people were triple captaining Timber and he came in with that massive haul or something like that, and that always baffles me.
Yeah,
But,
I always remember the one last year actually, where the guy actually went on to he got onto national news because he triple captained Dango Atara for his hat trick.
So yeah, like time travelers or hackers, it's got to be one of the two, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Should we look at Brighton Newcastle? Because if I talk any more about Forest, I might actually explode.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry. Just 2 more key talking points of the Chelsea game. Obviously,
Go for it.
in the squad, he's still got a little bit of an injury. I shouldn't imagine he plays Champions League this week. And Caicedo is benched for the first time since I think it was Christmas Eve, 2023. But again, that's probably down to international travel. But again, he should be starting in game week 9, so that shouldn't be of concern to anybody. But yeah, let's move on to Brighton. Brighton Newcastle.
Yeah, Brighton 2, Newcastle 1. It was a decent game. I think it could have gone either way, to be honest with you. I mean, Voltemade looking pretty good again. That's why I brought him in, because did you see his finish as well?
Oh, class, wasn't it?
Yeah, cheeky little finish. Well, Beck, when he still got it, proving that he can still roll back the years.
Oh, he drives me insane, honestly. At the start of the season, I thought he was going to be Brighton's nailed 9, given that João Pedro obviously went to Chelsea. And he just didn't get the minutes, but now he's back in the squad, or he has been for the last couple of games. He's doing quite well, and I think around about 6.5, maybe even less than that actually. Sorry, 6.3 million he's at now. That's probably all the people selling him off early in the season when they realised he wasn't getting the minutes. But yeah, definitely one to look at. Brighton's fixtures on the FDR actually come quite nice now. So if he continues to get these minutes, he's definitely of interest.
Do you think Rutte is slightly going under the radar a little bit?
So there was a lot of people wanted him earlier on in the season, and we were led to believe that he was nailed. But I think it's far from that. I think he did pick up an injury at some point, but I've also think that he's had a few early subs. But when he plays, he's decent. And another one that actually does really well for Brighton that no one talks about because he won't go and bag you, double-digit hauls each week is Yasin Ayari. He puts up some good data, but yeah, he doesn't get the returns, which is a shame because he's a 5 million mid, so he would have been a good enabler for the upcoming fixtures. But yeah, but as you said, Voltemade, I think that's 4 and 5 now, isn't it? Another brilliant finish.
I think everything that seems to be coming from Newcastle seems to be coming off him as well. So I think he's not, I wouldn't say essential. He's definitely other options out there, but he's a very good option to get in. Nick Pope with 1 save point as well. I think, is it announced today that he's just signed an extension?
Nick Pope?
Yeah.
I believe I saw something. Yeah, I haven't seen confirmation. I scrolled and saw something, I believe. He's a great keeper option, to be honest. I think if I could go back and redo my wild card, Nick Pope would be in goal for me over Raya. Nick Pope quite often picks up save points because Newcastle do concede shots. Raya, he's a 6 or a 2, to be honest. He never gets save points. He never makes saves. I think he made 1 save late on. But yeah, brilliant goalkeeper. And Newcastle, brilliant defence.
Yeah, no, I'm liking it. What would you be looking to bring in? Any Brighton players?
The only player that remotely interests me is Yankuba Minter. But
yeah, he definitely is meeting the eye test, isn't
he? He's a fantastic footballer, and I thought that if he was going to deliver, I thought he was going to be against Newcastle because that's where he came from. But it will. I think he had 0.38 expected goal involvement. So he does, he does put up the data and he will get returns. But it's whether you can persist. I mean, I think he's 6 million now. And obviously you've got Paqueta around the same price. West Ham's fixtures are nice. And you've got a few players cheaper that you could go to as cheaper enablers. Obviously, Welbeck, as we spoke about, he could become an option. But that also depends on his minutes. And for Bruggen, however you want to pronounce it, he's 4.4 million. He's a good cheaper alternative as a goalkeeper, but I wouldn't want to start him, week out.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I've settled with Nick Pope in goal, so I'm happy with that goalkeeper choice. Newcastle, I mean, like I said, Voltemade, I'd get him in because, well, I did. Dan Burn also hit DEFCON again at left back, and Gordon subbed on 70th minutes. If there's a penalty on the pitch if there's a penalty while both players are on the pitch, who's taking it?
Gordon.
Do you reckon?
I think so. I mean, I'm pretty certain. I think it was Champions League was against Union Saint-Gilloise. They had 2 penalties, and Gordon took them. And I also saw that Gordon was interviewed after the game last week when Voltemade scored the penalty, and he made a comment along the lines of, "I wish I'd been on the pitch to take that penalty." So for that reason, I believe that Gordon will be first choice penalty taker. But 3 games in a row now, he's been subbed around all before the 70th minute, and he's a brilliant footballer. And if he was a 90-minute man, he would be of serious interest. But I don't want to go there. I don't want my player to be subbed on 70th minute, especially for a side like Newcastle.
There seems to be something that's just not quite clicking with Gordon, I think, this season. I don't know if it's maybe not having Isak there in the middle, but it was a great option last season. Same with Jacob Murphy and stuff, but it's just not quite there. But maybe that is just down to the minutes.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is, obviously Newcastle have got variety to play up, on the left, on the right, and if Gordon isn't delivering, he's going to get pulled, isn't he? He's going to get hooked, and these players, they're not going to get, Harvey Barnes, he's not going to sit on the bench forever. Jacob Ramsey, when he's fit, he's not going to sit on the bench forever. These players are going to get reduced minutes. And the other option with Anthony Elanga, he's a ghost. He's the most irrelevant FPL asset at the moment in what is a decent Newcastle squad.
Yeah, it was surprising with Elanga because I thought it was going to be a good signing. Again, maybe with Isak not being there, it's disrupted the team a little bit. I'm not quite sure, but I was surprised that he's not hit the ground running, really.
Yeah, I am too. He was brilliant for Forest last year. In fact, I owned him for a few game weeks, and he served me quite well. And it is a shame because he's good on the ball, he's rapid, but he's just not delivering FPL points. So, yeah, he didn't actually make it. So make it into my recommended players for Newcastle. There's actually only 5 that I'd consider going to. Obviously, Voltemade, I think I've seen that he goes up in price again tonight, or potentially may go up in price. So that means he'll go up to 7.4 million. Pope, obviously, at 5.2 million is probably the best keeper choice at the moment. Dan Burn, as you said, he hit DEFCON at left back, which I wouldn't expect. If he's playing at centre back, I expect him to hit DEFCON quite regularly. Kieran Trippier with Livramento out, if he gets the minutes, he's a good option. And I've put Anthony Gordon there as well, but to be honest, I feel at 7.4 million, there's better options to be had than Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, I agree. I think you summed up that quite well. Should we have a look at the Burnley Leeds?
Yeah, Burnley Leeds, let's go. Do you want to try and pronounce the goal scorers for Burnley?
Nope. To be honest, Okay, this wasn't the game that I was particularly interested in when I first looked at it. The game obviously against the two promoted clubs. I did watch the highlights for this, and I don't even think the commentator announced the names, so I don't think I'm going to give it a go. I was trying to listen, thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna have to try this on the pod," but I don't even think they came out with it.
Yeah, so I reckon one of them's Ugu Chukwu,
Okay,
there or thereabouts, and the other one, Chuana. Regardless, Chuana, that's what I'm going with. Did you see his goal?
yes, absolutely phenomenal. That's what I wanted to try and get his name for because I wanted to give him like some sort of credit, but I will absolutely butcher it and probably offend about 4 different countries. But yeah, absolutely fantastic finish to be fair. So I didn't really see this result coming. I thought Leeds might have had this in the bag, but Burnley looked all right. Kyle Walker was that. Did you see the ball in for the first goal?
Yeah, it was decent. Yeah, Kyle Walker, he pretty sure he got 14 points, didn't he? But obviously got clean sheet and an assist in there and 3 bonus. I mean, I wouldn't go there, but I like seeing him do well because obviously he got a little bit of a hard time at the end of his City days, and then went off to Milan and didn't quite make it there. Um, Brilliant signing for Burnley though.
Yeah, fantastic. I don't think Burnley defenders as someone that you should be targeting unless you need someone cheap on the bench.
Yeah, absolutely. And Burnley XGC wise are actually the worst in the league as expected. This game they kept a clean sheet, but Leeds actually put up 2.63 XG. They had 19 shots and 17 inside the box, um, all whilst having 70% of the possession. So the scoreline tells a completely different story to how the game actually went. Burnley only put up 0.45 XG, and they only had 4 shots. So if you were to look into the data, as I like to do, and you didn't see the scoreline, but you saw this data, you would have expected probably a 2 or 3-0 Leeds win. But yeah, I mean, Leeds just continue to frustrate with their output. I mean, they always put up good XG or have been putting up good XG. They're the third best for XGC in the league so far this season, which came as a big surprise to me. And those that obviously, last week Dominic Calvert-Lewin was flavour of the week, wasn't he? Everyone was talking about him. He put up 0.33 XG and continued to be Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He doesn't score goals, and when he does, it's there's a blue moon outside.
Yeah, he's not reliable. He's not clinical enough, especially for FPL. Even as a cheap option, he's too frustrating to watch. Catch cat here, Bandor. But I think I've got to give a lot of credit to Burnley, to Dubravka. I mean, one save point, but some of them saves were absolutely fantastic, to be fair. I think going into the season, a lot of people wanted him when he made the move to Burnley because he was that cheap goalkeeper and it was playing as well. But I've got to give credit to him because he had a phenomenal game.
Yeah, and he's a no-brainer. 4 million. Is he 4 million or is he 4.1 now? No, he's still 4 million.
Is he still what?
Still 4 million. Yeah. Yeah, I mean he can quite easily sit on your bench. I mean, there's even a case to play him this week as well. I think they play Wolves away, and Wolves don't look fantastic, and he does get those save points. So yeah, as you say, Burnley players not necessarily of interest at the moment. There's obviously some cheaper options in their team: Dubravka, Estev, and one player I do want to talk about actually is Florentino Luis. So he came in after game week 4 when one of the Burnley players got a red card in game week 4. I can't remember off the top of my head who. But since he's come into the squad, he's 100% on DEFCON. And he's not just achieving DEFCON by getting 12 each week. He's achieving DEFCON by getting 18, 19 DEFCON. He's 5 million and he's got 0% ownership.
Wow.
So if there's someone out there that really wants to go differential, really wants to chase those DEFCON points, someone with a 4-point floor, he's not being pushed out the team at the moment. He's too good. So yeah, he's a fantastic option, Florentino Luis, and you can't get any more of a differential than that. Yeah, the only other person of interest is Jayden Anthony, but he hasn't really done anything for the last 3 or 4 weeks. He scored 4 in his first 5, I think, and since then he's been blanking. But yeah, they're all enablers. Both those teams really. Leeds wise, you're looking at Rodon at 4.1, Goodmanson, Sean Longstaff. Also, is it Sean Longstaff?
Yeah.
So there's two Longstaffs, isn't there? That was at Newcastle.
Yeah, there was Matty Longstaff as well, wasn't
there? Yeah. One of the Longstaffs. 4.9, good for DEFCON. And I've put Dominic Calvert-Lewin in there. But honestly, unless you want to be frustrated each week, I wouldn't even bother touching him. He's more of an enabler that can rot on your bench, or play the easier fixtures if you need to as a eighth attacker.
Yeah, I think if you wanted to go there and then spread some money around the midfield, possibly, but even then, I think there's still too many good other options up front. You've made a great argument there for the Burnley players, but again, both teams for me are sort of one to avoid. It's really refreshing though to have the promoted teams like fighting and staying up. I know obviously we've got a long way to go, but it's really good to see. Yeah, I'm sick of seeing the same three down at the bottom.
Yeah, and I think Leeds, the data that they're putting up, I think they will comfortably stay up this season. Sunderland obviously sitting on 14 points. Brilliant. It is worth noting though that Sunderland have had, the easier run of fixtures for the first 8 games. They're running into a real shit period now. So I wouldn't be expecting too much from their players. But I saw a statistic earlier on that last season the 3 promoted clubs had 8 clean sheets between them throughout the entirety of the season. The new promoted teams from this season have had 8 by mid-October. So they've matched last season's clean sheet total by mid-October, which I think speaks volume actually of just how stronger this lot are compared to what we saw last year. And Sunderland as well, 14 points. Southampton the whole season last season, 12 points. So we are, maybe we are seeing a little bit of turn in fortune for these newly promoted sides.
Yeah, well, they've had a couple of seasons now. We're seeing the same teams go up and down. So I think they're realising they can't come and just play the same way they did in the Championship. I've not really got too much else to say about the players from them games. Rodon, maybe, as a former Spurs player, he's fantastic for Leeds. Again, though, he's one for the bench, really. But yeah, other than that, I've not really got much else to say about them.
Yeah, absolutely. They're all bench cover. I mean, no one's going to be starting Leeds players or Burnley players week in, week out. I think actually Joe Rodon got a goal for Wales in the qualifiers last week as well, actually. So, excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, he's been on a bit of a run for Leeds. He hit the bar. Did he hit the bar against Tottenham? I think he did. Yeah, nearly scored against them. So yeah, he has been on a great run. But should we move on to the highlight of the weekend?
Yeah, this was my rank ruiner. So Palace 3, Bournemouth 3. I actually didn't realise that this finished 3-3 until about an hour after the game finished. I was in London. I saw it at 3-2 in the 96th minute and assumed that they had finished 3-2. But Mateta, as I said last week, he's the biggest underperformer of XG this season. Just stuck his middle finger up at me and went back to hat-trick.
I mean, he did do that, but to be fair, he could have had 4, 5 goals. He was incredible. Like, considering he scored a hat trick, he was quite wasteful throughout the game. They had a big chance at the end where he could have won it 4-3. I mean, this game could have been 5-5. It was, to be honest, when I saw this, I was sort of licking my lips thinking this could be a good game. I did sort of think a draw would be on the cards because I thought they'd want to share the points, but I wouldn't have had 3-3 on the cards.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it'd be a bit more of a cagey affair, to be honest. I thought it'd be a low scoring draw. But on Mateta, 3.67 XG. So
yeah, just by himself.
Just by himself. That's the highest of the season. And I think the highest bar, I think maybe one game for a whole team, XG wise, in one game.
Yeah, 11 shots and 3 big chances missed. That's what I mean. He's like, for 3 goals, still wasteful.
Yeah, and I mean that, like, as you said, that miss at the end of the game. I think that was probably about a 0.5 XG shot in itself. And yeah, he put it over, but he knew what he done, didn't he?
He just snatched it, I think, and I think the moment got to him. But to be fair, was the 2-0 down as well, weren't they, at one point?
They were, yeah. Cooper Jr. grabbed 2 goals, didn't he?
Yeah, so it's fantastic for Palace to come back. I really do like both these teams. I like the managers. I like what they've done in terms of losing the players that they've lost and still managed to be where they are. So I'm really impressed by some of these, and they've got a lot of good assets as well.
Yeah, a lot of assets of interest. equally, these teams they're like a breath of fresh air, aren't they? Like both these teams can beat any team on their day.
Yeah.
And if you say, if you're an Arsenal fan and you say, "Oh, we're away to Bournemouth this week," you're not expecting a win. Same goes for Palace, and Palace notice, but Bournemouth, we all know how Bournemouth play. They play with a high press. They are on you. As soon as you've got the ball, they're on you. They press, they attack. Like they're aggressive in that respect. And that's why this game was was such a high scoring game, because Palace, they're not playing against a low block in Bournemouth. If Bournemouth sat back and played a low block, Palace would maybe get a goal. But because Bournemouth are so high on the press, Palace can get in behind. And, that suits, Ismaila Sarr, Mateta down to an absolute T. And that's why, this game finished 3-3, because both teams just went for it. And that's what you want to see. And yeah, both doing fantastically well. So many assets in this team that are of interest. To be honest, I could probably make a team in FPL just of Palace and Bournemouth.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think Bournemouth were slightly more clinical than Palace, which is ridiculous considering Palace still managed to score 3 goals. But 8 shots, 3 big chances, all converted from Bournemouth. Obviously, Evan Nielsen was out. I can't remember. Did he say it was a thigh injury or something like that?
I'm not too sure. I mean, I first heard of it on Saturday that he was out. Didn't realise there was an issue. But I believe I've read that he will be out for game week 9 as well. So for those that are free hitting in 9, probably won't be many of you. Creepy Junior is a great option, to be honest, at 4.5 million.
Yeah, there were some big points in here as well, weren't they? Obviously, Junior were 12, Mateta were 17, and Munoz, considering he conceded 3, still with the 10. Obviously, there was the assist in there as well, wasn't
there? Yeah, 2 assists. Yeah.
2 assists.
So as I said, I was in London, and my son, he's 12. He plays FPL, and he started in game week 2 last season actually, and he done very well actually. But he takes a keen interest in it, and he's got Mateta and Munoz. And when he realised that Mateta and Munoz had, both got 2 goals, 2 assists, he had a huge green arrow. I mean, I think he was probably about 900k behind me at the start of the week. After that Palace game, he was about 400k ahead of me. I got a 1.3 million green arrow just from those 2 players. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not quite sure what Mateta ownership is. You got anything on you?
It was around about 8%. Let me check.
See, I think that's quite low for someone of Mateta's ability and the way Palace are playing. Munoz, I think that's just a case of a lot of people like myself put him on the bench this week.
Yeah. Sorry, Munoz.
Yeah, I think a lot of people put him on the bench, but Mateta's, what's his ownership?
So it's actually 11.9%, but I should imagine that quite a lot of that, probably 3% of that has been since the weekend.
And there'll be some people who obviously have him from the start and have not continued to play the game, I reckon.
Yeah, quite possibly. But he went up in price last night, 7.6. So there obviously has been an influx of people who are jumping on him, and rightfully so. I mean, game week 9 isn't the best entry point for him. They're away to Arsenal. It's the best defence in the league. So if you want to bring in Palace players, it is from game week 10. Ismaila Sarr, Mateta, Munoz, De Croix, Guéhi, Henderson, Richards. The list is endless. All of them are great options. But if you're using a transfer this week, it wouldn't be on a Palace player unless you're doing it to avoid price increases, which we could well see at Mateta. I would understand that.
Yeah, to be honest, I think when I messaged you and said about which striker to replace Isak with, I think you actually might have said Mateta. I was tossing up between them 2. Oh, was it Bowen as well? I think he shouted out.
Bowen was an option. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, Baltimore have retained, so I'm happy with that. But yeah, I mean, there's too many options. We could go on forever with these clubs because both of them are just fantastic and in great form at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, Bournemouth-wise, it is worth noting that Justin Kluivert actually started at the weekend, and he did get good minutes. which I think is his first start and good minutes this season after he suffered with an injury. So he could be an option going forward. Obviously, Creepy Jr. could become an option at 4.5, even if he's going to go and sit on your bench. He may get 15, 20 minutes whenever Nielsen's fit. Marcus Tavernier is another one, good for DEFCON. Also, I think he's a right winger. He'll pop up with the odd assist here and there. Senesi goes without say, and then also Adrian Truffert. He's just a regen of Kirkos from last year. He's brilliant, but I feel the fullback options have sort of died a slow death this season, really.
Yeah, with DEFCON points, we're seeing sort of like 4 centre backs already at the back now, aren't we, rather than fullbacks?
Yeah, I mean, I do like DEFCON. I do find myself. I use the FPL Fakel app to track DEFCON and track live bonus and stuff like that, and I am getting involved in it. But I do miss, the picks of, like Kirkos from last year, Munoz. Diouf would have been a good option last year for West Ham, albeit he's been benched this evening apparently. But yeah, Bournemouth wise, I mean, I guess it's just the key players, really, isn't it? There's not many others that are of massive interest. Semenyo is actually about to go up to 8.1 million by the looks of things.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I brought him in just before that. I think there was a bit of dispute whether the assist should have been given. I think obviously now under the new FPL rules, it obviously was. I don't think it would have been given last season though. Is that correct?
I think it was just the first goal, wasn't it? So he did get the assist for the second, but the first goal he didn't get the assist for.
All right, okay. Senesi, I will just point out Senesi as well because I brought him in 2 weeks ago and he's blanked both game weeks. So thanks for that.
He did hit DEFCON for you though.
Did he get what was it? Just the one?
Oh, sorry, no, he would have hit DEFCON, but then he would have got -2, wouldn't he, for goals conceded?
Yeah. I was going to say I thought I'd seen him with was it 2 points he finished on with there, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's with DEFCON. So yeah, actually DEFCON actually got you 2 points. Otherwise you'd be sitting on a 0. So be grateful.
Yeah, fair enough. I should have. Yeah, I didn't really look into that. Should we look at Man City Everton?
Yeah, on to Man City Everton.
Man City 2, Everton 0. Pretty run of the mill. Decent first half for Everton actually to keep Man City at bay, but Haaland is just unstoppable, isn't
he? Yeah, I mean it's becoming a little bit silly actually. I mean if you haven't got him in by now, it's
what are you doing?
Yeah, it's on you. It's honestly just get the guy in. He's about to go up to 14.7 million. He's going to go past 15 million this season without a shadow of a doubt. His EO is going to be through the roof. If you're not owning him, you're punishing yourself. You're going to be struggling. The guy's just inevitable, isn't he? He's just.
You see, I'm sitting here now, like, because he makes the captaincy option so boring. But then I do remember last season having Haaland and Salah and everyone else chipping in. I was stressing about captaincy, and that's what FPL players are like, aren't we? We want everything. But I like the challenge of Ucho. Season's a bit boring, but he's safe. So he's no stopping him.
No, I mean it's a massive risk going against Haaland. He's fixture proof. He proved that away to Arsenal. He grabbed a goal there. I think the only team actually that he didn't score against is your boys, isn't it? Spurs.
Yeah, that's because we've got the best centre backs in the world.
Yeah, scoring against Spurs isn't for everyone, is it?
It's not, is it? Man City. I mean, other than Haaland, is there anyone else you're looking at?
No. Last week I would have told you get Gvardiol in, but he was benched.
Pep Roulette, mate.
Pep Roulette. Yeah. I mean, I've put Foden. Foden is putting up good data, and he's getting the minutes. But how long is that for?
The only person that is immune to the roulette is Haaland.
Quite literally, yeah. I mean, Reinders has started every single game. He got subbed on 59. Do you have no idea how pissed off I was when I saw that?
There's another player that came off at 59, which we'll get to as well, which I wasn't happy about. But
yeah.
It's. I mean, Reinders, are you still holding on to him? I mean, surely that's got to be a bit of a switch, maybe.
I've got so many fires in my team that Reinders is the least of my issues.
It does feel very. It feels very luxury to get rid of him, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And I am still in profit with him. But if any of the listeners could go into our WhatsApp chat on Saturday afternoon, and read the messages that I put, it wasn't. I was raging, absolutely raging about FPL this weekend, and Reinders certainly didn't help the matter. One more minute is an extra 2 points. That 2 points is probably 100k in rank. It matters, right? But anyways, it drives me insane, and it happened to me earlier on in the season as well. Gakpo, he came up in 59.
Yeah, I had that.
And I took out Gakpo, and my son messaged me actually on Sunday, and he said, "Oh, Gakpo's starting," and I said, "Yeah, I know. He'll go and score." What happens? Goes and scores, puts up ridiculous XG. But we'll get on to the Liverpool game. But the point that I'm making is that these players are going to frustrate us, but sometimes it's not worth the transfer because there is other fires to fight within your team. And Reinders is an issue. He's not getting us FPL points, and if he's going to get subbed on 59 again, it's
yeah, that's a slight problem with Man City. Other than Haaland, I'd sort of stay away. We just can't trust Pep and his changing. Mamouche back on the bench, so I mean he could become an option down the line. What about Everton? Anyone that catches your eye for Everton? Obviously, Grealish couldn't play this game due to him playing against his parent club, but
yeah. So just on obviously you mentioned Marmoush was back on the bench. Ray and Cherky actually got some minutes as well. It looked quite lively when he came on actually as well. So again, if you have got a Foden, Cherky could be eating up some of those minutes, or he could even start. So I wouldn't even go there. But on Everton, obviously Grealish, he is of interest. He's 6.9 million. He is very much their creative man alongside Njai. Njai, another one. I love the guy, honestly. I think he's an absolute brilliant FPL asset. And he actually played really well against Man City at the weekend. He could have grabbed himself a goal if it wasn't for the Donnarumma save. That was a great save as well. And he actually put up he gave Beto a chance. It was a 0.6 XG chance. He slid and he completely missed the ball. And, Njai, he hit DEFCON and he hit it comfortably as well, by the way. Had he got one of those assists or grabbed that goal, he's proven himself to be a really good asset. Tarkovsky, obviously, but 5.5 million, you can do a hell of a lot better. Keenan Dewsbury Hall at 5 million, he's of interest, but he's just an enabler. Loves a booking. And I've also put James Garner purely for DEFCON more than anything, although he did have a good chance, which was a good save by Donnarumma as well, which, had he scored, that would have been a nice return. But these players are purely enablers. I think if you're going to go into Everton, you're going to go for Grealish or Njai at the moment. Nobody else of real interest.
Yeah, no, I agree. The two players I just want to touch on, obviously Donnarumma, fantastic goalkeeper. Could he be of interest of you, or just too much price-wise?
He's too expensive, and City aren't good enough defense-wise, in my opinion.
Nope, I agree. Branthwaite is come out today that he does need surgery, so he looks like he's going to be out for a while as well. So if you've got him in, I'd be looking at making a transfer there as well.
Yeah, so I think Branthwaite's been out for a while, isn't he? But I think the issue is that his whatever he needed done didn't fix the issue, which now means he requires surgery. However, that does mean that Michael Keane becomes a real option. He's 4.5 million. And he is unbelievable for DEFCON. Like, he's a 4-point floor every single week. So yeah, if you do want a cheap route into that Everton defence, then Michael Keane, he's pretty nailed for the time being, I think.
Yeah, I like it. Should we have a look at? Isn't it Fulham Arsenal next? Is
it Sunderland Wolves?
Sorry, what Fulham Arsenal? What's all that about? Man City. Sunderland Wolves. Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah, Sunderland Wolves. So Sunderland 2, Wolves 0. Goals was Mukiele. I'm sure some people absolutely cleared up on their bench or even started him, to be fair. And the other goal came from an own goal, which was Krejci.
Yep.
Not sure how to pronounce that. 4 players for Sunderland achieved DEFCON. Enzo Lafie, Granit Xhaka, obviously, Mukiele, and Dan Ballard back in the squad, also getting DEFCON after his 17-pointer in game week 1. as I seem to remember.
Yeah, I think with Sunderland, it's a tricky one because they've got off to a flying start. I think I've seen something today where I think they're like the fourth best team that have come up and like got the points. Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense. Best promoted side or fourth best promoted side in
Best
recent
start by
history.
promoted side.
Yes, that's the one. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. But this run can't continue for Sunderland, I don't think. I'm really happy to see them up there, but yeah, it can't continue. I think they're due a fixture change anyway, so there's not too many I would look at long term. Bench maybe, but yeah, I can't see this run continuing.
No, their run on the FDR is terrible from now, to be honest. Their defenders, a few of them will hit DEFCON. Granit Xhaka, I think he's fixture proof in the regards that he's going to be a 4-point floor most weeks, and he's only 5 million. But yeah, these both these teams, to be honest, are bench warmers. Wolves, I would not even bother. Jorgen Strand Larsen, if you were wild carding and wanted a cheaper forward, you know, he is an option. But Wolves, honestly, they don't.
I don't know what's going on with Wolves this season. It's just not working for them, is it? And I'm surprised that he's still in his job, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously losing Ray and Nori and Cunha, plays some part in it.
Yeah,
but they just show nothing, do they? I mean, they put up 0.83 xG against Sunderland, which was more than Sunderland's xG. Don't get me wrong, but yeah,
this is what I was saying earlier, though. Sort of in terms of you look at the class with Palace and Bournemouth and the players that they've lost, and they've lost some big players, and they've still managed to keep it going. So it's not. Yes, it is. It's an excuse, but it kind of isn't. If you sort of see what I'm saying with Wolves.
yeah, I mean, they're just not scoring goals, are they? And that's what wins you football matches. That's what gets you draws. And defensively, they're terrible. I thought Agbabu was going to be a great option this season. Nailed for DEFCON pretty much, but even he's getting benched. Yeah, honestly, Wolves, they're a target. They're a fixture to target for the opposing team, certainly. But I wouldn't be buying any of their players. In regards to Sunderland, as we mentioned, you obviously got Alderete, 4.1 million, Mukiele, 4 million. Their goalkeeper, he's a solid backup, but I wouldn't be going spending 4.6 million on him when you've got Dubravka at 4. Dan Ballard, 4.6 million, Grant Xhaka at 5. To be honest, as I said, wouldn't be buying any of these. If you own them, fine, just hold them, put them on your bench. If you're after a cheap enabler, Grant Xhaka is the one.
They're kind of in the don't buy, don't sell territory, really, Sunderland, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, when their defenders tend to be the ones returning, right? Like you look at Alderete, 17-pointer, Michele, 17-pointer, Dan Ballard, 17-pointer this season. Their goals are coming from defence. So, I don't begrudge anybody for wanting to hold their defenders or even start them, to be honest. I mean, they don't particularly look like a bad defensive side. So, yeah, Sunderland defence probably more interesting than the other promoted sides or Wolves. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I've got to say about them two teams, really. So, yeah, just sort of don't buy, don't sell Sunderland, Wolves, don't go anywhere near.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, on Wolves, it is worth noting that they did have 16 shots against Sunderland. Out of those 16 shots, there was no big chances. And their backup striker, Jackson Fachoa, something along those lines, probably butchered that as well. He had their highest XG of the game. He only played 13 minutes. And he put up an XG of 0.26. So, it speaks volumes really of where Wolves are at the moment. But yeah, that's about it for Sunderland Wolves. So let's move on to Fulham Arsenal.
Yeah, Fulham 0, Arsenal 1. I don't know what to say about Arsenal because as a Tottenham fan, I'm not enjoying this run. But defensively, they're just unbelievable. Fulham maybe lacking a little bit in terms of goal power, but Arsenal just very run of the mill. Go out there, get the job done.
Yeah, very gritty, aren't they? I mean, Fulham are pretty sure they're around 5th or 6th at XGC this season, so they're defending really well. But that's all they are doing. Reminds me a little bit of how Forest played last season, except Fulham this season haven't got a Chris Wood to put goals away. Raul Jimenez and Munoz are both out injured. I believe they should be back in the near future. But when you've got no number 9, I think Harry Wilson might even played number 9. I might be wrong. There was never any threat really from Fulham scoring. They put up 0.44 XG. It's against Arsenal with no striker. You're pissing into the wind, really, aren't you?
Yeah, so I was just checking that Fulham lineup there just to see what was looking at up top for Fulham. But yeah, the defense, like Marcus Silva seems to have a way with Arsenal where he does sort of, it's a bit tricky for them, but that's maybe why they scraped to 1-0. It was a bit of a sort of, I don't want to say dodgy goal, but it was a bit, one clean cut. Do you see it?
Yeah, it came off Trossard's knee, didn't it?
Yeah. I think maybe Fulham, it's probably a bit too nice to say it was a bit harsh on Fulham, but I think Arsenal deserved the win just purely for the way they defend. They're so sound, and I think the double Arsenal defence is the way forward. I know you've got Raya in goal. Personally, I'd be looking at 2 Arsenal defenders and swapping the keeper. But then, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I completely agree. As I mentioned earlier on the pod, if I could go back and do my wild card again, Raya wouldn't be in there. As I said, he's very much a 2-pointer or a 6-pointer. Won't make saves because Arsenal are too good defensively. So yeah, if you want to double up on the Arsenal defence, it's Gabriel and it's Timber. Calafiori is pretty much nailed on starter as well, and obviously Saliba, but Saliba just seems to be the one staying back, especially on set pieces. So yeah, Gabriel and Timber, and then obviously your third would be either a Saka or, pains me to say, but Gyökeres. I apologise if anyone can hear fireworks, by the way. There's fireworks right outside my window by looks of things.
No, it's all good. I can't hear anything. Saka hitting DEFCON.
Yeah, see this just added fuel to the fire for me at the weekend. So my brother's an Arsenal fan. He's more interested in an Arsenal result as he is for FPL. Mm-hmm. And I messaged him because I wasn't watching the game, and I said I saw Saka was on 2 bonus. So Saka's done absolutely nothing. Like, how is he on 2 bonus? And he's just like, Saka's been class, different class. And he created 6 chances, 3 big chances. He got 6 in the bonus point system for dribbles and 5 for fouls won. He made 10 recoveries. So Saka blanked, but he got a 7-pointer. It is worth noting, though, that I would not expect DEFCON very often from Saka. I think this was probably a 1 in 5 game, maybe, where he picks up DEFCON.
Yeah, no, so I was just double checking it because I, for some reason I had Saka in my head as the assist, but it was the flick on from Gabriel, wasn't it, that came onto Trossard?
Yeah, so Saka got the pre-assist. Yeah, he put it in the corner.
He put the corner. I don't know what I had it in my head it was Saka, but no, it was him that put the corner and wanted it flicked on by Gabriel and seen home by Trossard. But yeah, no, Saka DEFCON, you can't be. There's no way you can rely on that because that's not going to happen week in, week out. Gyökeres, time to get rid.
He's frustrating. Am I looking to sell him? No, I'm going to give him another couple of game weeks. Definitely give him 9. He is my route to Mateta if he is not firing, and then the money I save from that will be a route to Saka in midfield. But Gyökeres did up 0.4 XG. He is delivering okay data. He had 8 touches in the opposition box. He's getting in the positions. He's getting shots away. He's just not scoring.
It's no good for FPL though, is it? It's all right getting in the right positions, but if you're not going to put the ball in the back of the net, I don't know if maybe people were thinking that a striker for Arsenal was going to solve all of the problems, and we was all expecting big points from the striker at Arsenal, but whoever it was going to be before bringing them in. But it's just not sort of clicked for him, has it?
No, but I did see a stat. I think it was in comparison before this week, by the way, may I add. It was in comparison to Ekitike and also in comparison to Nick Watermale, who obviously had substantially high transfer fees, and they had also only scored 3 goals. But because Gyökeres is obviously the Arsenal player, he's getting more shit for it, right? But let's face it, they're the best team in the league at the moment. You should be scoring more goals, and you are going to be in the firing line when you're not. And as an owner, he's delivered me fuck all.
Yeah, I think Arteta does tend to get a reputation of being a bit too cautious and especially defensive. But yeah, I think we're expecting a little bit more from Arsenal up top. Eze didn't sort of went missing a little bit during that game. Subbed on 62 as well.
Yeah, so in Oliver's absence, he played in the 10, and to be honest, he was a little bit of a ghost. Didn't really do much, as you say. He was hooked on the 62nd minute. Eze on the left is an option. Eze as a 10. I don't really see him as an option, to be honest. It's a shame that someone like Trossard or Martinelli doesn't get better minutes, because they're brilliant options. I mean, you look at Arsenal's results as of late. Trossard, Martinelli, they do pop up goals.
Yeah, I'm just looking at these players here to sort of target Fulham. I'm not really too sure on Fulham, to be honest with you. Just can't seem to get many goals really without that number 9. Anderson's got a grade 1 hamstring injury, so I'll be looking to get him out if you still got him in. Placing up for Arsenal. We've already spoke about Raya. I would look at swapping him out. A goalkeeper change is never fun in FPL. If you're wildcarding or whatever, I'd be looking at a different goalkeeper and going with the 2 Arsenal defenders. Timber, without a doubt, because I just love how attacking he is.
Yeah, brilliant asset. Really, really good. He just seems to be nailed. I can't see Ben White knocking him out of the team. He's class. But the list of Arsenal players is quite long in terms of interest. And also there was it Kevin? He almost gave away a penalty, didn't he? I think he just about got the ball there first and caught Saka's knee, maybe. Would have been interesting to see who took the penalty, because I'm pretty sure I read that Gyökeres had the ball.
So I'd seen there was a... Sorry, I'm just going to jump in there. It looks like Brentford have scored.
Brentford have scored?
Yep. Thiago is coming through us. Brentford 1-0.
Another cheap option in FPL for you?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the confirmation, but it looks like Kevin Sharde's got the assist as well.
Yeah, it was Kevin Sharde assist just before half time as well. Igor Thiago, I think that's his 5th goal of the season. So 6 million. Yeah, he's of interest.
Sorry, as I was saying about Arsenal. Yeah, I think, you're right. He did have the ball. He was having a conversation with Saka. It's just, I think the best way to describe it, if you look at Liverpool, if they get a penalty, who's going to take it?
Well, Salah, don't you?
Exactly, and he's not going to pass it to anybody else. Whereas Saka, if he's got a goal and he wants to maybe get Gyökeres in the back of the net, he's more likely to hand the penalty over. So it's just too difficult to say without seeing it with them both on the pitch. Ideally, if you're going to target penalty takers, you want to be 100% certain they're taking it, like a Salah, a Mateta, etc. So it's difficult, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, agreed. And if the next penalty that Arsenal get, if Gyökeres takes it, then what does that mean? We still don't know. Yeah. It's a 50-50 chance, right? If then they get another penalty and Saka takes it, then it's. I think that Saka calls the shots.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, 100% nailed it.
Yeah. So, yeah, depends on how Saka feels. I mean, I did see some speculation among Arsenal fans that Saka would take penalties at home, Gyökeres would take them away. It's all hearsay until we see it. But if Gyökeres doesn't get any penalties, he's a sell. And to be honest, he is in my mind to sell as well. I mean, it very much feels at the moment that it is a Timber, Gabriel, Saka, Arsenal free.
I would be looking at Saka out there too. But should we have a look at the other side of London?
The other side of London, your boys, I'll let you take the reins.
Yeah, Tottenham 1, Villa 2. Not quite sure the scoreline really reflects it. The Tottenham came flying out of the gates, Bentancur scoring pretty early on. One thing I would just say as a Spurs fan is I've seen a lot of Tottenham fans sort of blowing this up a little bit. It's not. I wouldn't hit the panic button just yet when it comes to Tottenham. I won't even look at the concern. I think it was just Villa had 2 shots on target, 2 goals, and both of them absolutely fair play. I don't think there's many goalkeepers that are saving either shot. Slightly worrying on the second goal because no one closed down. No one closed down him. No one closed him down. Sorry. But other than that, I just wouldn't read too much into it. Villa looked okay, but yeah, Spurs lacking up front, which I think cost the game really.
Yeah, that Villa second goal was brilliant, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. But, I think they just threw the Spurs defenders off. I think was it Matty Cash who just played that sort of volley, the touch as well from I can't remember who took the touch from. Was it McGinn?
It would have been whoever got the assist. Let's have a look. It was Luca Dean.
Luca Dean, of course it was. Yeah, that touch to then flick it on. It was just unbelievable. So there's just not really much you can do about them 2 goals. Same with Morgan Rogers, to be fair, both of them. Yeah, fair play.
Yeah, but it is 3 wins in a row for Villa, so they have turned that corner. I still wouldn't be interested in any. Certainly, wouldn't be buying any of their assets. Let's put it that way. Their run of fixtures isn't the best, but it was nice to see Rogers get off the mark. It was nice to see him get a goal. Surprised to see Ollie Watkins benched.
I think there was just a bit of concern from the international, wasn't they? He'd picked up a little bit of a knock there, so I think it was more just precaution than anything else, to be honest.
Oh, of course. Yeah, no, you're right. Is it Donyell Marlon started as a 9?
I believe so.
Yeah.
One thing, but yeah, I won't read too much into that. I think it was just more concern over anything else. But I do think Villa were beatable. I know they've won X amount of games on their own now, but yeah, Tottenham were lacking up front, and I think we could have, or we should have, probably seen that game out.
Yeah, and I think it speaks volumes in regard, bonus points. You have Bentancur get 3, Palhinha get 2. It's rare that we see the losing side with top bonus, right? But to put it into perspective, Villa only put up 0.32 xG. They had 0 big chances, and their only 2 shots on target were their goals. So, the scoreline sort of flatters Villa based off the data. But Spurs, the highest xG from a Spurs player was Oliver at 0.26. So, yeah, I think this is, in my opinion, probably had like a 0-0, 1-1 written all over it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Tottenham always seem to struggle against Villa, and at home we're just not looking like the same team we are when we play away, which is a shame because it should be the other way around, really. But yeah, we're just not quite clicking in that stadium at the minute. When it comes to the Tottenham front line, the risk paid off for Matthias Tell in terms of the differential that I gave the shout out for. He did start, which was that was the risk, and then came off in the 59th minute. So he just needs to walk a little bit slower leaving that pitch, I think. But in terms of the front 3, I won't touch him, to be honest with you. I think until Solanke comes back, and even Kolo Muani, unless he starts playing regularly, the front 3 for Tottenham are just very poor. Other than Mohamed Kudus, should I say.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of Spurs, none of their assets really appeal to me at the moment. I mean, Xavi Simons, I mean, I bought him in. First game I had him for, it was when he got an assist. I benched him, right? Ever since, he has done absolutely nothing. And he doesn't look like a bad player, but in terms of FPL, honestly, like I've never been so pissed off watching a player or following a player in FPL than I have with Xavi Simons. The guy drives me up the wall, honestly.
The only thing I can say about him is he's an absolute fantastic player. I think with Maddison and Kulu being out at the minute, he's going to get 90 minutes every week, which I know we still want him to. We still want him to bring something back. Do you know what I mean? We need him to pretend with something, whether it's an assist or a goal or whatever. But he's going to be playing most of the games. He's hard. I'm trying so hard to defend him, but it's one of them. I don't know. I'm trying so hard to defend him, but you are right. It is. How many weeks do you give it?
I'll be honest with you. There is absolutely nothing that you can say to me that will prevent me from selling him this week. Absolutely nothing. The guy is so far at the bottom of my bin. He's unretrievable.
Well, I'm going to keep him because after you've said that, he's definitely going to return next week, and then he.
Yeah, damn right he is. But you know, right? I even said in our group chat, I said Xavi Simons 9 DEFCON at half time. I was like, this is nailed, right? 4-pointer, perfect. I will take that. Gets no more DEFCON until I think it was the 72nd minute. He got his 10th, and I was like, okay, we're back on. Maybe going to get DEFCON, subbed in 79. And I was just like, I was driving my son home, and I checked on it, and that was it. Rage.
Yeah, I think he got hooked because I think Tottenham had to try and salvage something from it. But yeah, you are right. It's hard to defend him. I'm keeping hold of him at the minute because I think I've got other things I need to solve, and I do think a lot of the creative stuff will come from Xavi Simons when it clicks. But again, Tottenham's home form isn't brilliant anyway. Mohamed Kudus though, he had a goal ruled out for offside. Looks incredible. I know that's no use to us when his goals are being ruled out, but the eye test.
Yeah, I mean, anyone that follows my page on Instagram knows I'm not his biggest fan. I do think that he's overperforming somewhat. And I don't think these returns that he gets are going to continue. But I've got a question for you. Paulinho, is he an option?
Just before I answer that, Brentford have gone 2-0 up.
2-0 Brentford?
Yeah. Thiago again.
Wow.
He's not come through with who's got the assist yet. Sorry, Paulinho as an option. I mean, I like him. I do like him, and I think it's between him, Bentancur, and Sarr. I don't see a lot of Tottenham fans are saying about how Paulinho and Bentancur shouldn't start together, but it's. He is looking good, and he's looking very solid. And he likes a shot as well. And they're not always on target, but he does like a shot at goal.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, I wouldn't bring him in.
No, not even
not for FPL.
Okay. I mean, let's face it, Spurs' fixtures aren't great on the horizon, are they? But Paulinho seems to be involved in every single thing that they do. He is popping out of the odd assist, popping out of the odd goal, and he's good for DEFCON.
Yeah, you are right. I'm not quite sure. A lot of I know he's got a goal and an assist and stuff, but a lot of things that he does tends to be the action before the assist or before it leads to a goal. If you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But he gets up there, he gets in the box, he loves a shot. I don't want to say a punt. I'd say it's a bit punty.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it's definitely an option.
Just in regards to Brentford's second, the assist was Mikael Damsgaard, but it has gone to VAR. So whether or not that stands remains to be seen.
Oh yeah, goal pending.
Yeah.
Nope, it's been ruled out.
Been ruled out, is it?
Yeah, it's been ruled out. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, obviously in terms of Vida, I wouldn't go buying. If you hold them, you can hold them.
Yeah, Watkins. Obviously, like I said, I think that's just more precaution than anything else in terms of him being benched. I won't go buying him. I think there's better options up front. Morgan Rogers, I'm hoping that maybe kickstarts him a little bit.
Yeah, and he's dropped to 6.8 million, which is quite interesting. But honestly, the Villa fixtures just aren't worth targeting at the moment, even though they are turning the corner in form. Same with Watkins. Wouldn't go buying if you own him. To be honest, I'd probably sell him now, especially as I say with their run of fixtures.
Yeah, should we have a look at the result that probably pleased every Arsenal fan?
Yeah. So that was Liverpool 1, Manchester United 2, which I don't think any sport fan, any football fan saw happening on Sunday afternoon. But Harry Maguire with his slab head coming up trumps again.
Yeah, so there was part of me that when I was looking at Sky Bet for this, I was because you can freeze one of the bets, and I did sort of suspect that Man United would go 1-0 up, but I didn't see them winning the game.
No, and I think you look at the stats. Liverpool put up 2.75 xG, 5 big chances, 4 missed. They did have opportunities. Salah himself created 4 chances and had 0.41 xG, but I mean, I think it speaks volumes. United were 2-1 up, Liverpool chasing the game. Slot takes off Salah in the 85th minute. I mean, that speaks volumes, I think, in my opinion, on what Slot thought of performance and also probably his performances so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, 84th minute with Champions League coming up, I wouldn't read too much into it, but it's always surprising when Salah doesn't see out the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it, isn't it? Like Salah's always been a 90-minute man, especially when they're chasing a game. You know, he's like the guy they go to take him off when their biggest rivals they're chasing a game. It's but yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So,
frightening.
what are you looking at with Liverpool? I mean, the defenders are sort of non-existent this season in terms of FPL because they're just conceding too many goals. Even like Van Dijk is not really coming up with the headed goals that he has been in previous seasons. The only one for me, I wouldn't go out and buy him, but if you've got him, I'd keep hold of him. Is Gakpo?
Yeah, so I bought in Gakpo on wildcard, and I'm always going to sell him in game week 7 when Liverpool's fixtures turn. I followed that plan, and since I've taken him out, he's returned in both game weeks because that's just my shit like an FPL this season. However, it does very much feel at the moment that everything Liverpool are doing well goes through Gakpo. Gakpo put up 1.47 xG in that game. He hit the crossbar or the post 3 times, as well as obviously scoring. So he is getting in the positions. He is going to continue to be a good asset. But could we see an early sub here and there, or could we see a benching? We can. We've seen it already. But yeah, he's probably the only asset actually at Liverpool that I would even remotely consider at the moment.
Yeah, Florian Wirtz, was he benched as well?
Yeah, he was benched. He came on and done nothing again. I think that's 9 games now, 0 returns, 0 goals, 0 assists. He's if there's anyone actually still holding him, they have more patience than anybody I ever met. That's for sure. It would be long.
I think you can make the same argument with Salah and Isak, though. To be honest, I mean,
Yeah.
what has Etitike got to do? I mean, I know he didn't come on and score this time, but the start that he had in the season, it's just. Do you think there's a little bit of disruption there for Liverpool?
Yeah, I think I put something on my Instagram yesterday, asking people's opinions as to what's going wrong at Liverpool at the moment. And generally, everyone comes down to the same thing. It's a new team adjusting to a new style of play. I think they do miss Trent quite significantly. I do think that Salah is unable to cut in because the right back isn't giving him that luxury. And yeah, I don't know. Somebody mentioned obviously the Diogo Jota situation. Maybe that's still playing on their mind, and that would be understandable. To be honest, something's not right there. And obviously, you mentioned Isak. Bringing him in even before now, I don't understand anyone bringing him in. Minutes were always going to be pretty bad. It was only going into game week 8 that Slot said he can now be treated like everyone else. He's fully fit. No excuses, right?
It's even during international break, it wasn't clicking for him for Sweden either. So I don't know if there's something in his head, a bit of a mental block. But yeah, I mean, like I jumped off him and went to Voltemada instead because I think there's just better options as 90-minute men, which he isn't one of them at the minute, and he's just not finding the back of the net.
No, he's not. And he looks a little bit lost, to be honest.
Yeah.
But he's also picking up a lot of the space that Salah was finding last season. But he's just not as creative as Salah, in my opinion. But Ekitike, when he came on, he looked good. He gave a bit of a spark to Liverpool, got a few shots away, looked good. But yeah, to be honest, when they got that goal back, I did think Liverpool go on and win this. Didn't expect United to grab the winner. But it was quite funny actually because I was watching it and Gary Neville said on the corner, he said, it may just be my Man United bias, but I do feel like a goal is coming from Man United, or it can come from Man United, and it did. And you see that ball from Fernandes?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'm going to talk about Man United to be fair, because we've talked about Liverpool enough. I think we've covered what we need to cover there. But yeah, it's a tricky one with United because Fernandes, he gets a lot of stick from FPL players, but he's making some returns.
Yeah, and I think, had he converted those 2 penalties earlier on in the season, he'll be the second highest midfielder point scorer in the game. And we'll be talking about him differently, right? Like, all of a
Do you
sudden,
think it's a case of because he maybe goes 2 games blanking and then comes in with like an 8-pointer, and then he'll go another 2 games blanking and then another 8-pointer? Do you reckon he's not that consistent in terms of returns, maybe?
yeah, that's exactly what it is. I mean, you could get a midfielder that picks up an assist every single game, right? He goes and gets 6-6-6 every single week, 7-7-7. Bruno Fernandes will go get you a 1, a 2, then an 18-pointer. That's what he's capable of doing. Over the course of a season, I still think that he'll hit 200-point mark, but he is the most slated and frustrating asset in FPL. But what I will say is that I watched a lot of the United Liverpool game, and I thought he was very, very sloppy in possession, especially towards the end of the game. He gave the ball away that I counted 4 times within the last 15 minutes of the game, which led to a decent chance for Liverpool, and that's very much unlike him. But is he worth 9 million? Or he's 8.9 now. I think he dropped. No, he's not. But as we'll get on to, there are Man United players that are cheaper that could be options.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Brian Mbeumo here on the spreadsheet, and I think hopefully this will be the kickstart for him. I don't think any of the new signings for Man United have started the way we expected them to. I thought without having any European games this season, that they might have started a little bit better. Like you said, maybe if Fernandes had scored them 2 penalties, there's another. Who was that against? Do you remember?
Brentford was 1, Fulham, I think the other one.
Yeah. Yeah, so they haven't really clicked up until now. So I'm hoping that this is the start that they start to kick on and run away with it. Don't forget, Mbeumo does leave for the African Cup of Nations, but not till game week 17. So he's still got plenty of time to get some points in before he leaves the squad.
Yeah, and at 8 million, he's an easy downgrade from Bruno. But also United's fixtures, not too bad now either. Really like Mbeumo. Last year was brilliant. It's been a matter of time this season before he did get a decent return, and he only got a 9-pointer, but I think he's owned by 13%. So that 9 points at 30% ownership feels quite good, right? But in terms of Man United assets, I mean, there's not many to shout about. Benjamin Sesko was one that I mentioned last week, and he got benched. So all of a sudden he's no longer of interest because we can't guarantee his minutes. Ahmad, he was good. He started. He, I believe, played right wing back, or was it left? It might have been left, and then Dallo switched to the left when Dorgu came on. Regardless, he got subbed on 59. I believe that was because of the booking more than anything. But
yeah,
he's dropped to 6.3, so he's of interest. He's got very low ownership. And Matthias de Ligt, fantastic for Defcon. So if United, now they've got is it Lamans, their new goalkeeper?
Yep.
He's had a good 2 games, picked up a save point against Liverpool. If he tightens up that United defence or helps tighten up, de Ligt becomes an option as well.
Yeah, defensively that was always a problem on it. So hopefully that'll keep him a bit more steady at the back. What just before we move on to differentials and stuff, what do you think is happening with Cunha?
Cunha is not the main man at Man United. He's very creative. He's very creative. If you actually watch him, he pulls a lot of the strings for United. He does a lot of the build-up play. He wins a lot of the balls back, but he's not there or thereabouts when it comes to those final passes or getting in front of goal. Do I think that will come? I think it might, but I think that we'll see Cunha be a better asset when Mbeumo goes to AFCON.
Yeah. I mean, we've been talking for about an hour now, but should we rattle through what our plans are for game week 9? Jump onto differentials?
Yep. So in regards to my team, I've got 1 free transfer. I believe I've got 0.5 in the bank. I've got a Xavi Simons size hull in my team.
One thing. Sorry, I know you've already said that. Whatever I say won't change your mind. One thing I did notice during the game is he's not seeing a lot of the ball in the right positions. So I think if they can start getting him more into the game and getting him into them sort of positions where he can create something, and once the likes of Dominic Solanke return and etc., I think you will see a slight bit of change in him. But I fully understand why you're looking at selling him.
Yeah, and I think 7 million for a player, in a decent Spurs side, let's face it, who is blanking every single week, I have no interest, especially when you've got the likes of Enzo there. You've got the likes of Njai, Ismail Assar, who have quite high ceilings. It doesn't feel like Xavi will go out and get me like a 15-pointer one week. Maybe he's going to get 6.
Yeah.
It's not enough for a 7 million midfielder. In regards to my team, I've got a few issues. João Pedro is frustrating me. I'm not going to sell him anytime soon. Chelsea's fixtures are too good.
Yeah.
Ocares, I'm going to give a couple more weeks. Reinders is an issue. Xavi Simons is an issue. And I've got Joachim Andersen as well, who obviously has picked up a hamstring injury. Their fixtures are great, I believe, in 10 and 11. So I'm hoping he's back for then. If not, obviously he's a sell as well. But yeah, biggest issue for me is Xavi Simons, and I'm 99% certain, barring any injuries in my team, that he'll be gone this week. I did when I was raging at the weekend. I was like, right, that's it. I'm tearing up my team. I'm going to take a -8, -12, whatever's needed. I'm just going to sort it out. I'll calm down a bit now. Still might take a hit, but only if very, very necessary.
Because I think Xavi falls into a similar category to Reinders. To be honest, you can make an argument that they both need to come out of the squad.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that Xavi annoys me a lot more than Reinders. But it is what it is. That's my plans. My rank has tanked this week. I'm probably going to drop back below 1 million, and I'm going to pin the blame solely on Xavi Simons. He is my scapegoat, and he will be coming out my team, and he can get in the fucking bin. To be honest.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Anyways, Matty, what's your plans for the week?
Do you know what? Considering I'm sat on a podcast about FPL, it's terrible for me to say. I don't really know. I've got midfield for me slightly lacking. I've got Semenyo, Gakpo, your mate Xavi's in there, Paquetá. It's lacking a little bit in the midfield. But to be honest, I'm actually considering maybe just rolling this week so I can go at it with two transfers. I've got 0.4 in the bank. This week, look, it's not looking too bad in terms of players. I can put Paquetá in, who's got Leeds away. João Pedro up front against Sunderland. He's another one that I would consider moving on, but the fixture's just too good at the minute. But yeah, I'm going for the double Arsenal defence. But yeah, other than that, I think I'm genuinely considering rolling.
Yeah, and how's your team look for this week? What's your starting 11?
For this week coming up?
Yeah.
Nick Pope, Timber, Senesi, Gabriel, Semenyo, Gakpo, Xavi, Voltemade, Pedro, Haaland, and Paquetá.
And interestingly enough, Paquetá started as 9 this evening as well.
He did.
For West Ham. Not that he's doing very well because they haven't scored yet. In regards to my team, Raya at home to Palace, Cucurella at home to Sunderland, Senesi, Timber, both of home games. Xavi Simons currently still sitting there, but he's going to be long gone come the weekend. I will leave it last minute unless I get hit with another price decrease, which is possible. Semenyo and Jai at home to Tottenham. So I'm hoping your boys get absolutely pounded this weekend and Jai runs riot. Ismail Assar will start against Arsenal just purely because Palace, put up good XG, one of the best in the league. Then João Pedro, Gyökeres and Haaland with my other mate Reinders sitting on the bench. As I mentioned, there is a case to start the Bravka this week. He is away to the Wolves. But am I going to start him over Raya? No, probably not.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Differentials, I don't really want to talk about this, to be honest. This
So
infuriated me. If Tell had just taken a little bit longer to walk off the pitch, I'd have been up there. I honestly, I could not believe it when Strand Larson came in with the 2 points, and I saw Matthias Tell starting. I thought, I'm Jose Mourinho. I've absolutely pulled it out of the bag. But it's yeah, it just didn't click for him, did it? 1 point for me, 2 for you.
yeah, so I've run away with the lead in our first week with 2 points from Jorgen Strand Larsen. Yeah, Matthias Tell subbed. What is it in the 59?
It was 59 minutes and 35 seconds.
Yeah, hard done by. But let me just clarify: this it's not going to be a week on week thing. It's not going to be like I've won week 1 sort of thing. It's going to be we're going to collate all the scores at the end of the season and then see who's got the most points based on their differential pick. So I'm winning 2-1. If your differential next week goes and gets 10 and mine gets 2, it's 11-4, right? So that'll be the way that it works. So yeah, we'll go. Who is your pick for the up and coming week?
Well, mate, you had I know, as you said, you if you won that week, so I'll let you go first.
Okay. So, oh God, this is a tough one this week, isn't it? I need to double check because this player may have gone up in oh my God, my mind's
in price.
In ownership. Sorry.
Go on, shout his name out. I've got the app ready to go.
No, it's fine. Off the back of his last week's heroics, I am going to go for Pedro Neto. So he's owned by 4.3%. I thought that would have gone up substantially more, but it turns out not. He's owned by 4.3%. He's 7 million. Chelsea are at home to Sunderland. I think Sunderland, this is a week where they get found out. I could see quite a comfortable win for Chelsea. So yeah, that is my selection.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I looked at Garnacho myself, but he's just not. He's just too absent in the game. In terms of returns and stuff like that. But he was. Let me just double check actually what he was, because he was very, very low ownership. Not point. I did look at Garnacho because he's 0.4, but he's not clicking enough for me. He don't return anything, so I decided to go with Jared Bowen at 9.1. Selected. He's going to cost you 7.8 million, so slightly a bit higher than what I'd expect for a differential. But he is playing Leeds away, so I do think that there's an option to return there.
Yeah, he's a good shout, and he's actually good until game week 12 as well, where their fixtures then turn back again. Neto, one thing I didn't realise about Neto, he's actually started every single game for Chelsea. He's a little bit of a mainstay, sort of flying under the radar somewhat. So yeah, I fancy my chances this week of getting a good return with him. But also like your pick of Bowen. I like how you just snuck in there before the ownership goes above 10% as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, mate, especially after tonight's game, we were at half time at the minute during this recording, so yeah, it could shoot up during tonight. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with all that, mate. So I think looking forward to game week 9. Yeah, let's just. I hope Xavi Simons returns, mate. That's what I'm hoping for.
He will, because I'm selling him. And if he does, I might just quit FPL for good. But yeah, no, that's the end of the pod, guys. Just a few things we asked from you. Obviously, give it a like, give it a subscribe, rate us 5 stars if you're listening on audio. In regards to my socials, it's Instagram is at FPL Junkie, and the YouTube for the podcast is at FPL Reviewed. This will be dropping on YouTube this week once it has been edited. And the Instagram for the podcast is FPL Reviewed. And Matty, you've got a social as well, haven't you?
Yeah, so to be honest, my personal social I don't really use much, but I do have media company Behind the Mic Media. We mainly use TikTok, so if you can go drop that a follow. We do a lot of football stuff on there as well. There's quite a lot of other reviews and stuff like that. So yeah, go give that a follow.
Cool. All right. Well, that's the end from us, guys, and we will be back here at the same time next week with hopefully a couple of green arrows. If not, it'll be me probably slamming Reinders this time instead of Xavi Simmons, but we'll see what happens. But I hope you have a good week, and we'll catch you again next week.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, mate.
All right, take it easy.
No worries. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.